Hello, CSC 115. This is a recording of a one-on-one conversation between myself, Dr. White, and Nick Page. We're talking about one of the homework problems from Chapter 6. It's the one about the bag of candies. So before you listen more to this recording, you might want to review that problem again, although I imagine Nick will be looking from time to time on the directions in the textbook himself, and you'll see that on the screen. So Nick, tell me what's up.
So I seem to be getting somewhere, which is good. I commented out lines 71 and 73 because originally I saw this part of the example, how a possible scenario could run, and I thought I needed those words. But I don't need those, so I'll probably just delete those lines. Estimate the expected number of days required to empty a bag. 10,000 reps as the default, and a default seed of null. And I'm getting somewhere. So basically, I have mine set up.
Okay. Could I slightly interrupt you?
Yes, absolutely.
Here's a way to make it easier for everyone else to see. Why don't we make your console small now by going to the upper right corner of the console, and do you see how there's like two boxes? And there you go. So it becomes as small as it can be. And sometimes it's good to enlarge your screen, but maybe not here. It looks like you're going to be able to see everything. How about also, why don't we clear the global environment so that like everything that R knows about is something that you're going to teach it right here where you and I and our future audience will see it.
Yes.
Okay. So, walk us through the body of the function, sort of explaining what it's doing line by line right now.
So with the seed set to null, if the seed is not null, then set seed as whatever the seed is that you put in. Right now, it's null, so it'll just be random. For I in reps to 1, could be 1 to reps. I don't think it matters because it's just the iterations. Set bag equal to 20 because there are 20 candies in the bag. That's what we start with.
Okay.
I set n equal to 1. And for me, I'm just using n as days. I just like using n as a numerical value.
Okay.
And then while the bag has more than 0 candies in it, take a whole number of candies, take one of them, and the number you want to take is between 1 and 10.
Oh, I see.
And if the amount you're taking is less than the amount in the bag, then remove those candies from the bag right here and set that as the new value for bag. So when it goes through next, it will do the same thing, but it will hold on to that value. So let's say you remove 3 candies from the bag, then when it comes back through, 20 minus 3, so it'll be 17 candies.
Yeah. Okay.
Initially, I had these little cat things that told you how many are left and how many you have and all that, but I don't believe those are necessary.
Okay.
Set bag equal to 0. If there are more, if you're taking more than there are in the bag. So if the number you're taking is greater than the number in the bag, set bag equal to 0. And then it's asking for, I believe it's asking for the average number of days.
Yes.
Yes. Estimate the expected number of days required to empty the bag.
Okay.
So my value for days is n. And each time it goes through this iteration or this for loop, I want it to do, or not the for loop, the while loop. This is in the while loop. I believe. Yes. At the end of the while loop, I want it to add a day. So,
Yeah. Yes, I see your general idea.
and then the mean of, actually,
Yeah, I think you
I
see
don't,
something too that you think may be wrong.
I don't think I need the mean of the days. I just need the days, right?
Well, ultimately, a days needed sim is trying to estimate an expected value, the expected number of days it takes. So it's probably
Expected.
going to return mean of something,
Yes.
some results as the very last, expression that it evaluates. So I agree with the mean. Not sure I agree with the mean of n. That's one of the three issues that I'm looking at the moment. And I think maybe it's the first one that we should deal with. So,
All right.
when you're doing a simulation, it's a really good idea to set up a results vector. And then your for loop, for I and 1 to reps.
Yes.
And then somewhere inside that for loop, you get a result for the one simulation that you're doing inside the for loop. And you store
Oh,
that result in the ith place of the results vector.
so
Do you actually
because
have
we're
a
looking for the
results
number,
vector here?
I do
Somewhere
not have
inside.
a results vector at all.
Right. Yeah, I think you're kind of conflating the n vector that's keeping track of how many days it's taking to empty the bag once, with a results vector. So you need to have a separate results vector, somewhere between line 63 and 64. Maybe insert a new line and set yourself up a results vector.
Sorry, say that part again.
Between line 63 and 64, before you get into the for loop, set up a results vector. Yeah, you could call it results. You could also call it days.
Oh, that might be easier to keep track of.
Yeah. And what kind of vector will it be? Will it hold numbers, strings?
It's gonna have to
or
hold
boolean
numbers.
pulses?
Well, no, it's gonna have to hold strings. So then we can.
Why would it hold strings? It might take 2 days. It might take 3 days. It might take 5 days.
I was thinking it would have to hold on to however many days each iteration took.
Right. And that's numbers, right? So
Yes.
maybe you should use the function numeric. And how long? Oh, good. And do you need the C outside of it? Or do you just need numeric reps?
No, just numeric.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So now that you know that days is your results vector, you know that somewhere after you have finished taking candies out of the bag, you'll need to record into the ith place of that results vector how many days it took to empty that bag.
Would that be here?
Let's see, where is the end of your while loop?
Here.
Right. So in the line after the while loop
Just
ends,
after that.
that's where you would say days I is something.
Days I. I guess we can just, that's just the results. So we can give that a name, right?
Well, what's the name
No,
of the variable that's keeping track of how many days it's taking?
N.
Right. So as long as you've computed n correctly, by the time you get out of the while loop, the n will say how many days it took.
And then the mean of, would it be the mean of, yeah, it would be the mean of days.
That's right. It's great. Okay. Could we look at what you're doing on line 77?
Yeah, this part doesn't look great to me.
Yeah, because really what happens is after you've taken some candies out of the bag, one more day has passed. So you just need to make n one more than it used to be. How do you add 1 to a value? Do you remember the countdown function?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember it would it starts at something the user wants, and then while, like maybe it was an n, and then while n was bigger than 0, you would say something, and then you would say n is n minus 1. And
Yes,
that
yeah.
way, that way you would finally
So I guess I would just like
yeah,
this.
right. Because what you've done with when you do take on line 69, that makes a day pass, you know? And so you know that somewhere before you finish out that while loop, you're going to have to add 1 to your days.
Makes sense.
Okay. And let's see what you've got here for the while loop. Can you select the conditional that determines whether you get to run the while loop again? Just so we could all look at it. What's the conditional that governs the while loop that says whether you can go into the while loop at all? No, it's up on line 68.
Oh, yeah, duh, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So as long as bag is bigger than 0, we'll get to have another day to take candies out of the bag, And let's see, we take appears to be how much we're going to take on that day. But you seem to have an if else. If take is less than the bag, then we'll take what's out of there. But if take is like more than what's in the bag, we'll say the bag is 0, is equal to 0. Yeah, I see how that's actually going to work for you. I believe that it will run correctly. But I wonder if you could simplify it. What if you made your condition in line 68? Why not make it, why not keep it bag bigger than 0? But instead of that line 70 through line 76, why not just say bag is bag minus take? Just replace all of that if else with just bag is bag minus take.
Well, I guess I need to highlight that too because it's the if
Good,
statement.
right. Yeah, see, here's my thinking about it. Like say that a day comes when there's 3 candies left in the bag,
and
and on
you
that day you're
try
taking
to take
4.
7.
Yeah.
It's
Then
still the
the
same number
bag
of
will be
days.
negative And that will mean that it's not bigger than 0, so you won't take any more out.
But it's still the same number of days. It doesn't have to get to exactly 0.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it makes it a little simpler. Can I ask you one more question, though, about your take on line 69?
Yes.
So I see that what you're doing is getting a random real number that could be as small as 1 and could be as big as 10. That's because the min is set to the 1 in the middle, and the max is set to the 10 at the end in the RUNIF call. And so, like, for example, you could get 9.97. And what would happen when you do as.integer on like 9.97? Could you go to the console and maybe, yeah, just at the console, do as.integer of 9.97? Oh, that's 9. Would it be possible to ever get a 10 in your function call?
10 is the max, so you would have to get exactly a 10.
Right. Yeah. The chances of getting exactly a 10 when you are randomly grabbing a real number between 1 and 10 is basically zilch. How about a different approach?
A sample function?
Exactly. Instead of as.integer of stuff, why not sample from the whole numbers from 1 to 10?
Is there a function for whole numbers, or would I just do?
Yeah, that's good enough. And how many do you want to sample? Right, size is 1. And yeah, it doesn't matter if you say replace is true or false this time, because you're only grabbing one of them.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need that.
Yeah. Okay. Gee, we should take this thing for a test drive. Hmm. 5. That's interesting.
Expected number of days. Does it need to be a whole number?
Well, no. Remember when we did like game A in problem 1, where you could either win $1 or $2, equal chance of each? The expected value was 1.5. Even though you would never get a $1.5 on any day.
True. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just a little kind of wondering here, because I'm thinking, does it feel right to you? If you're grabbing any whole number from 1 to 10,
well, you have, in that case,
how much
equal.
would you grab on average on any given day on average?
5.
Yeah, feels like about 5. And so how many days would it take kind of on average? How does it feel like?
4. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
should take.
Yeah. So it feels a little high. What was your reps, actually? 10,000. Seed is null, so you're just going to let anything happen. Yeah, run it again and see what it says. Still pretty big. So it kind of felt like it ought to be closer to 4, huh?
It felt like it, yeah, but I keep getting the same thing.
Right. So maybe we should go back into your function again and look and think what's happening. Would you be willing to run it in debug mode? And then we'll run it when reps is like 1.
Well, I'm trying to think. I might have. Is it anything to do with the n+1? Like on the last day, if it's really close to 4, what if it's just doing +1?
How well? I see you're suspicious about something. Think about it like this: line 67 is saying n is 1.
Yes.
Now, when you've gone through the while loop once, n will be 2 by that time, right? But how many days have really passed?
Oh.
Now
Let's try
I
that.
think we got. Now we're more like it.
Yeah, that's a lot closer.
Yeah. The expected value turns out to not exactly be 4, but it is close to 4.
Yeah, that's a lot closer.
Yeah. That's a great job. Let's go back. You know how the last step in writing a function is going and reading the directions again, just to see if we
Yes.
were able to get it all. So it's got to do these 2 parameters, default values, estimate expected value. Yeah, so you still need to do some writing where you, in
Apply
your
it with
comments, you
50,000.
say what seed you use, and but
Let's see.
basically you're pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, so you have a little work to go in terms of using your function, but the function itself does look quite correct now. If you don't mind, I'm going to stop recording.
That's all right with me.
And everyone, I hope y'all get a lot of benefit from this session. I think Nick did a great job of sort of explaining where he was at and articulating, how his function was working. In the process of trying to articulate it, he began to discover some of the bugs in his programming. Great job.